Hello everyone and welcome to xxMelle Potato Kitchen! Today we're making a sun-dried tomato risotto. It is a really nice recipe. It is the recipe that made me discover how to roast veggies in the oven. And it is really nice. I obviously changed the recipe from the original one. The original one was vegan, and in this recipe I use butter and cheese. So clearly not vegan, but let's get into it. This is what it looks like. It is creamy, it's full of veggies, it is really tasty, full of flavor, it is really good. So the first thing you need to do, you need to start prepping the veggies. For the size of the veggies, I do bite size, so like around an inch and a half an inch. It is not precise, but I like to have bite of veggies in this because everything is soft, it's risotto. So I like to make big veggies. The bell pepper, I've used 2 green, 2 red bell pepper. Then you're gonna roast some garlic. To roast the garlic, you just need to cut the top off and you keep the skin on and you just drizzle it with oil. Then I cut the tomatoes in half and the mushrooms in quarters. Put everything into this cooking sheet pan and it was ready for seasoning. The other veggies that we need are green onions, but they're not gonna go into the oven, so I'm gonna put them into a bowl. Finely chopped. Mines weren't that pretty, but they were still tasting good. So that's what is important. I put the green onion into a bowl there because that's what I'm gonna start cooking with in the pot. And then you need about a cup of sun-dried tomato. You want it small. You want it small because you want to have as much sun-dried tomato as possible in like each bite, so you need to cut it. And I've used the sun-dried tomato oil to season the veggies that goes into the oven because it's full of flavor. You keep that oil and you cook things with it. The other day I cooked eggs with it. It was really good. So once all of the sun-dried tomatoes are cut, you put them with the green onion because you're gonna start cooking those first into the pot. Then you want to season the vegetable that goes into the oven now that they have oil on it. I've used Italian seasoning, salt and pepper. I've put that into the oven. It's gonna be, most of the seasoning from the risotto is gonna be on those veggies, so it's important to not like on this seasoning. Next step is 4 cups of vegetable broth and half a cup of tomato sauce that you're gonna mix together in a pot and you're gonna bring that to a boil. But as soon as it's boiling, you remove it from the heat unless there's still ice cube. Once your veggies and the broth are ready and that everything is prepped, you have everything around you, you're ready to cook. So you need 2 cups of Arborio rice, half a cup of white wine, a little bit of butter so that the pan is well coated with some kind of oil or butter, because you need to coat the rice with that butter or oil. So what I did is I did a mix of sun-dried tomato oil and butter at the bottom of the pan to cook the sun-dried tomato and the green onion. And as soon as they were flagrant and that the butter was all melted, I added the Arborio rice and I keep mixing. I do not stop mixing. And once all of the rice is starting to get translucent, I had the wine. It is really important that you coat it with the oil first and then you start cooking it with the oil before adding any liquid. Once you add the wine, you're gonna keep mixing until all of the wine is absorbed into the rice. You'll see that like when you mix, the liquid will not coat the bottom anymore and it will not bubble anymore. It will just be the rice and there's kind of liquid around it, but it's not the same consistency. It's not liquid anymore. It's more like a sauce now. But you need more of that liquid to get into the rice so that it fully cooks. So every time that it is almost all absorbed, you add 1 ladder of liquid at a time until all of that liquid has been absorbed. It will get that orangey reddish tint because our liquid is red because of the tomato sauce and my broth was red, but it will still be red because of the tomato sauce. Once I was there, I did a taste test to see if it was cooked enough or if I needed more liquid. It wasn't cooked enough, so I kept adding more until it was all absorbed. When you have a bigger quantity, like at this moment here, You can tell if it's ready or not by the amount of bubble that raised to the top and the consistency of the bubbles. And honestly, the first time I did it, I was scared. I was not sure what I was doing, but I followed the instruction to add one ladder at a time until all of the liquid was absorbed, and it was working well. I didn't have to do anything else. It worked. It was really good. So like, it may not be a beginner friendly recipe, but if you know how to make soup and you know how to make pasta and you know how to do things, I'm pretty sure you can make risotto. It's not that hard, it's just that it needs full attention all of the time. When you get to this point, you want to make sure that the liquid is almost all absorbed into the rice. Once all of the liquid is going to be absorbed, you're going to be able to do another taste test. Make sure that the texture of the rice is correct. If the texture of the rice is correct, it is not crunchy anymore, then you can turn off the heat and add the veggies. But if it's still crunchy, then I would recommend to add a little bit more vegetable broth. So I would say keep a cup extra of vegetable broth on the side in case that you need more for the cooking. Depending on the brand that you use, it may make a little bit of difference. I had to add a little bit more, so that's why I'm giving you that as a suggestion. And you need to let it cook for at least 20 to 30 minutes total. So this is a long recipe. It takes a lot of time and a lot of love, but it is definitely worth it. Once I reached a temperature that was high enough and a texture that I liked, I added the parmesan while it was still cooking so that the parmesan can melt and incorporate correctly into the risotto. I mixed everything well in, and then I was able to turn off the heat and add the veggies in. Once I added the veggies, I did another taste test to make sure everything was correct. I removed the garlic skin because remember, you cook the garlic with the skin. I did that off camera, and then it's ready to serve. So I hope you enjoyed this recipe. It is a recipe that needs a lot of love, not of time, but it is worth it. And you can start the risotto as you put the veggies in the oven, and they will probably be both ready at the same time. But I prefer cooking my veggies before so that I can give my full attention to the risotto. So that's all I have for you guys today. This recipe is pretty good, pretty tasty. I really hope you guys like it and try it. And I'll see you guys next week for another video. And until then, I'll see you guys on Twitch. Bye bye!